All right, I'll start us up. I just told our guys, I hate to be a guy that says I told you so, but I've been telling them that you can't hit your way to Omaha. And you got to pitch, you got to defend, you got to make plays. Yes, we know you got to have timely hitting, but I thought we did that tonight. I thought Padgett was outstanding, Pence was outstanding, Poston was outstanding, and AC was outstanding. And yes, we left a lot of guys on base. But you get enough on base, you're going to start driving them in. So again, I talked to them about what are we doing well. We got those guys on base, and we found a way to get to that 5. Because if we didn't leave that many runners on base, I wouldn't be as like, because in my mind I think we should have scored 15, and we should have. But that was a really big swing of the bat by Horvath, because he hasn't done that in a while, hit the ball over the wall. So hopefully that'll be contagious, like hitting is, and we'll be able to build off that. But those are the type of wins. If you're going to be a great team, you got to find a way to win, because we've lost some close games, especially one-run games. So that's what I'm proud of our guys, especially our pitchers and our defense.
But against a team like Boston College, you're not going to be able to let that many chances go by, leaving the bases loaded 3 times. And
I don't know that. I mean, hitting's the hardest thing to do in baseball. It's easy to say that, but if you pitch and you defend and you get 5 runs, you got a chance to win the game, in my opinion. I haven't been here many times when we've left 19 runners on base. So
yeah.
Hope
we were
not.
talking about
Exactly.
NCAA records like 23.
Yeah, so we almost made an NCAA record with a win. So look at it that way. And, it is contagious, the offensive side of it. But you have no shot to win championships if you don't pitch and you don't defend. And if you look at our whole season, we've been known as an offensive club, a club that can hit the ball out of the park, a dynamic lineup. Well, no matter what, you're going to have a tough stretch offensively as a team, not just as an individual. And we've been in one of those. And when the way I look at it is the opposite. Like, yeah, you can't leave those guys against Boston College. But if we pitch like we did, I think we can beat anybody.
When you look at leaving them on base, Matt comes through, and you're still getting the pitching. I mean, we were just talking about it before you came out here. You got to be able to win games 3-2.
No doubt.
And your guys have come around. What has changed for them as the season's progressed?
I give a lot of credit to Coach Gaines, because he's, I coached him. He's a positive guy. He's a hard-working guy. And when you're struggling, everybody's nature, if you're competitive, is to get ticked off or negative. But in baseball, it ain't like you're playing football. The yelling, the screaming, you have to control your emotions. You got to have a routine, and just reminding the guys we believe in them, but also figuring out the moving parts. Who we need to go to when in certain situations. And we sat down for a while today, and Coach Gaines had done a lot of work on, okay, what's this guy against righties? What's this guy against lefties? And Dalton's a great example, because Dalton has dominated right-handed hitters for the most part. That was the first righty that has done much against him. And that's why we weren't afraid to go to him against right-handed hitters. But a game like that, that's 4 of our probably top 8 pitchers, and that's your goal, to try to this time of the season to shrink the pitching staff to 8 to 10.
You shrink the staff, but you also have got defined roles. I mean, long relief. Mm-hmm. AC's becoming sort of your de facto closer there.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt. And that's good, because Poston and AC can both close. And but Poston recovers like no other. I haven't coached many guys that can pitch like him. It's literally a rubber arm, and hold his stuff. So that's big for us. And we've shrunk it now more to like a Berkowitz. You'll see him. If you see him, it's going to be against a lefty, and he's out. If we think he's going to pitch hit for him, and a guy like Nick Pry's a great example. He's been better against lefties than he's been against righties. But I feel really good about the first 2 guys you saw today have earned. Their name's going to be called even more, so they're going to have to take care of themselves.
All 4 guys who threw tonight, you could say good splits both ways.
Yeah.
Where else do you kind of feel comfortable with the rest of your bullpen in terms of maybe having guys face both righties and lefties?
Yeah. Those, honestly, your bullpen's made up in college baseball usually of, heck, in 2008, I used 2 guys basically, or 3. Colin Bates, Ryan Moran, Rob Wooten, and now I feel like we have 4. And then we have a couple other emergency guys that can give us some length if we need them. Like a guy like Will Sandy will move more into the long relief role, because you're going to see Dalton and Padgett pitching more in the tight games on the weekend. But what nobody's talked about is we've played Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so we've had to manage the Tuesday game a little bit different. Like at South Carolina, you took Dalton Pence out early, so today we knew that those guys would have 2 days rest for Friday and 3 days rest for Saturday. And if you're under 75 pitches, 3 days rest, you're good to go. I'm glad that we're Friday, Saturday, Sunday these next 2 weeks for sure.
With Padgett, today, I think maybe one of the more encouraging things is that you saw him get better as the start went on.
Yep.
Just how encouraging is to see that.
This is a kid again in high school, is 87, 88 max. And Coach Gass gets in here in our program, gets stronger, his velocity starts jumping. So credit him, throws a ton of strikes too, and he didn't have a breaking ball when he got here, and he's picked up a slider, so that's helped him as well.
You put Vance in the 2-hole. What was you thinking
Yeah,
there, and how do you think it went?
Just a switch, just to get him more at the top. He's faster than Mac. Mac's as good a base stealer, but he's faster. And that's another thing about these guys put so much pressure on themselves. I want to take that off of them because I believe in our offense. The way I look at it is we've won a good amount of games, not as many as we would have liked. And our guys hadn't got really going. Mac had an unbelievable. You can't sustain what he was doing, early in the season. But I believe Alberto's going to get going. I believe Vance Honeycutt's going to get going. And when you have a year like Vance last year, and you're predicted to be such a high pick next year, if you look at Vance right now across college baseball, he's having a good year. He's just not having a great year. And I just want those guys to know I believe in them. We're going to keep them in the lineup, and we just hope that those guys will get going. I think they will.
Hey, one more from Coach.
You got anything?
Good.
Good.
Let's go.
Just get a hit with runners on base, right?
Yep. What was it? It was 2 for 19 at one point.
You really wanted to tell him that, didn't
The
you?
bearer of good news.
Dalton?
You leave.
It seemed to be really in a groove tonight. What was working for you?
Everything felt good. The righties, I had the change up that was working good until the last pitch, but other than that, the fastball, I had good command fastball working both sides of the plate, and I think that helped with the change up and the cutter also to lefties. So
Did that South Carolina game sort of flip a switch for you?
it definitely helps with confidence, just knowing that I can get out there and just go as long as I can physically and just try and throw every pitch as hard as I can. And it helps physically just because I know that my body can sustain going out there every day if I needed to, and just mentally a lot.
You talked about the cutter there. Just what has been the acclimation process been like with that? You're kind of learning it over the past month, and just how do you feel like it kind of just helps your arsenal that much better?
I think it helps my arsenal better because I keep the same arm speed as the fastball, and it helps play off of it with the changeup as well. And Nick Pry was a big part of that. He helped me, showed me his cutter grip, how he throws it, everything along with that. So he was a big help in learning it.
Dalton, I know Coach is kind of talking about going down to kind of his top 8 guys for certain scenarios pitching wise. How do you think the bullpen has really evolved, starting at kind of those tough ECU games, and then with you coming in South Carolina, and then the Miami series, and now leading up to BC? How do you guys think you've kind of dealt with the adversity and evolved along the way?
I think we can all trust each other better because we know that if one guy doesn't get the job done, we know that we can send somebody else out there, and they're going to do the best that they can to get the job done. And so we all feed off each other. We feed off the energy in the bullpen, and I think it works well.
Does it make it easier for the players to sort of know their role? Like, you're going to start some or whatever you could start, but having like Burke, he talked about Burke as a matchup guy. Poston and AC are starting to be your closers. Does that help you guys to know what's expected?
I think so. I think it helps a lot with the bullpen. Guys know, Poston and AC, they know that they're going to throw the later innings, and they can kind of relax and just watch the game, watch the hitters, and kind of learn and see what they're doing against the guys early on, and then later on they can really concentrate and focus in on getting their stuff toned in and ready to go out there.
Are you, obviously everybody wants to start, but are you good with how you're being used now, knowing that starting role could still happen here later in the season?
Absolutely.
Or does it matter?
it doesn't really matter to me. The coaches do more research and more film work than I do, of course, so they know more about the teams that we're going up against, and I trust the coaches to use whatever way possible.
We're getting to that point of the year where, I mean, this is the really fun part, obviously, down the stretch, kind of crunch time a little bit. For you, obviously, going back to last year, having to kind of watch the team make the run they did and everything like that, just how much you just kind of embracing the opportunity to be able to make a push here.
It's fun to be a part of, for sure, just getting out there and having to sit on the sideline last year is kind of tough, but this year I'm just embracing every second I can get. And like Coach always tells us, this team's not going to be the same next year. It's going to be a different group of guys, but we're trying to live it just one pitch at a time and take as much in as possible.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Dalton.
How big was it for you to get that home run after, you guys had a lot of runners on base, left bases loaded, and that frustration kind of mounted?
Yeah, I think it was definitely pretty big for us. That's going to happen where you just can't get guys in. And unfortunately for us, that happened quite a bit today. But just kind of using that as a learning experience, and just know that, how to be better in situational hitting.
How do you explain that? Is this were guys getting tight, or just didn't work, just baseball?
Yeah, I mean, it could be both. But I think it was probably just baseball today. Because I think everyone's been playing pretty loose, and sometimes you just hit it right at someone and they're able to turn double play or something like that. So
Snapped a 12-game stretch, I believe, of no homers. So how did it feel, confidence-wise, to just hit it over the fence today?
yeah, I mean, definitely felt great. I'm not feeling too well right now, so honestly, I hit it. And I wasn't even that excited. I was like, oh, sweet, but I was like, I just kind of want to start feeling a bit better. So, but
What do you just feel
I just,
under the weather?
The crud.
yeah, just like I don't know, my nose and throat.
The stuffy nose,
Yeah,
sort throat.
just- I don't know what you want to call
Holiday
it.
express, man.
Isn't that the combination that gets home runs usually?
I mean, I guess I'll be
Michael
cold the rest of the
Jordan
year.
flu
Yeah.
What you kind of grinned over there when Coach was talking about Honeycutt and you guys. So who wins the 60?
60. He probably wins a 60. I did beat him in the 30 though in the fall. So once.
Does it those movements in the order? I mean, obviously you got to play regardless, but do you notice who's in front of you, who's behind you, and all that, or is it just a situation where trust Coach Forbes, trust those guys, come out here and do your job?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really notice it at all. It's just kind of knowing you're in the lineup and just, I mean, it's only a couple spots, so it's not like anything crazy. Just kind of, trying to do your job, not worrying about where you are in the lineup. So.
Last question, and I'll let you get out of here unless y'all got something, because I don't want to get whatever you got. Boston College coming in. Obviously, that Miami series was rough. I mean, high-level baseball at times, but 3 one-run games. And what's the mindset going forward, knowing that you guys have got to get on a run?
Yeah, I think it's good knowing how we're playing right now, because we know that we're not playing the best that we can, and we're still, almost winning games, or we are winning games. So I think it's kind of a confidence boost to us knowing like once we all start to kind of click, like we're gonna go on that run, and we're not worried about it. So
Going off that a little bit, I mean, when you look at this team offensively, I mean, there are some positives still where you've seen Casey really kind of come into his own. Stokely, I mean, he's hitting the ball as hard as he probably ever has in his career. I mean, just how does that kind of further encourage you about what this team can still be?
yeah, I mean, it just kind of shows the depth of this team. It doesn't always have to be me or Vance or like Johnny or someone hitting a big home run. Up and down the lineup, someone's getting that job done. So it kind of takes pressure off you knowing that you don't have to do everything. Your teammates got your back. So
Thanks, man.
Good.
Thanks.
Back.
thank you.
Appreciate it, man.